All right, we're live.
We're live. Good morning, all of you savages. The one on the Guerrilla economy is coming to you live. It's Algo Factory Tech, and we have the snorting, sneezing, farting cowboy here. And Jesus Christ.
Yes, I thought I had
Anyway,
my mic muted right there.
no, you didn't, man. You just didn't. You're sharing everything with us this morning. It's disgusting. But
Oh
anyway, it
boy.
is what it
Oh man. Oh boy. Well, you know what I can also share is a trade here that we were talking about in the private live lab yesterday. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one out there, and this is looking like it's gonna be a banger. If I can get my darn thing to work here. Let's see here. Share screen. All right, so we're gonna short. At least I'm gonna short. You got to do your own research. You can't just trade because I traded. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a short here for the Japanese yen USD, and it looks like okay. So the carry trade may be back on, but I'm still seeing them. Like I don't see any change in them cutting rates. Hiking their rates. I don't see any change in that. So I'm gonna throw on the short that you see here on the screen. I just gotta get to my trade station. You won't see the actual trade happen. And this is a short that does it's one of the few exceptions, where I will go against a certain metric that the Algo Factory knows well. And once we get to the private live lab, I'll go ahead and reveal some of the secret sauces to why I'm actually taking this trade. But you see it right here. And this stop is rather generous, but there's a reason for that. I could go much tighter, and I might actually throw on a second position that is tighter, but this is a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And let me go and zoom in so people can actually see what the values are. And again, this is a Forex trade. I do primarily my day trading and scalping is primarily on Forex, mostly because liquidity and things like that. If you're using really small position, then you can not have to worry about liquidity over on Forex. So that's the thing. But once you get past a certain level, you want to go where the liquidity is. Otherwise, you start to have a lot of slippage issues, and that's that. So I'm going to do, a decent size trade here, and then I'm going to have a much tighter stop with a much smaller trade. And that will kind of give me an opportunity to rake in some extra money at a much lower risk. So let me see, take profits at 142,691. So technically already in profit. I love it. But what you'll see is like there's a lot of people out there who, they do these shows and they talk about this and they talk about that, but they don't take trades. And so you never want to be dealing with people who are LARPs, right? And there's a lot of LARP going on. LARPing going on in this world. So you want
The
to make
West
sure
is filled with lopping.
it really, yeah. I mean, we got it, in our leadership, we got it in all kinds of stuff. Apparently,
You want to know something, man? I just had this last couple of days. This is a very foreboding feeling.
tell me about it.
I think Kamala Harris is going to be winning.
Yeah, it could happen. Excuse me. Yeah, that's extremely possible. Is this just like a feeling, or do you have something besides a feeling on this one?
No, I have nothing besides a feeling. Just a feeling.
Well, what happens if she does? That's what we got to think about. Like, what actually happens if she wins? Well, how does that affect us? Because look, we're not here to we're not here to kind of complain that much about the outcome of things. We're here to profit on the outcome of things, right? We're not so concerned about and by the way, my second stop loss can be pretty tight here, and it's going to be half the position of what I chose here. So second stop loss will be 146 dot. Let me see here. Let me zoom in a bit. I love the one thing I like about trading JPY is the tightness of the spread.
Yeah.
257. So we'll just go with 146.26. That'll be my stop on that. 146.26. And you know what? If it, this is the what do you call it? The risk to reward on this trade is so great that I could have this wrong like 4 times and still be well in profit. I could get this wrong 4 times in a row. I could stop out on this 4 times, but because of the risk to reward, it's just beautiful. This is just a great trade. Anyway, so yeah, we're not here to complain. We're here to profit. And if the person gets in that we don't want, we're not going to go cry on the street and kneel and cry. And we're not going to freak out, and we may move to another country. That's one, that's a reasonable thing to do.
The Russian consulate is looking better every single day, bro.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. We all saw that letter, right? At least in our community, we saw that letter that was put out by Putin about how, they're inviting people over and they're taking away the requirement to learn like the Russian language. And second trade on here is a 7-1, by the way. It's a beautiful thing. And by the way, yesterday you can see this yellow line that I've got right here. You saw that I called that it would come back and grab liquidity here. Now I thought that I missed that trade about halfway through yesterday. It just kept going down, but I didn't want to trade against this structure because price, the way it did was, you can see it here on the screen, but it came down, bounced back up, and then went down again. And I didn't want to trade against right here where it had pivoted before. This price tends to pivot where it pivoted before. And again, it did happen, but it was kind of like a delayed reaction. It poked a little far past there, and then it caught and headed back up. So had I gone short in the original time, I still would be in a nice trade, but now I'm in a really nice trade because I can actually cut down my risk, or really cut down my risk and get the same results. So anyway, look, if you're going to go and move to another country, don't be an asshole. If you go to another country, you want to respect their way of life, right? The way that they do things is how you want to do things. You don't want to go over there and try to bring your stupid ideas. And I think anybody that's willing to pack up and move over to Russia is probably going to be conservative no matter what. But in the meantime, what do you do if you don't leave? How do you handle your business if you want to stay in this country? If you don't like the result of the election, if you wanted Trump or anybody besides Kamala or whoever to win, what would you do? Right? Well, one thing you could do is insulate yourself financially. And there's a couple ways to do that. Now, what we do over here at Algo Factory is we teach people how to extract money from the markets, right? So your biggest definer of success at Algo Factory is going to be your work ethic. We have people who, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Yeah, okay, I'm, relatively intelligent, and some people might say some very nice things. But in reality, I know people who are way smarter than me who make way less money. And work ethic is key here. That's what we have to understand. Work ethic is everything. At Algo Factory, the people who are successful are the people who put in the work. It's that simple. And so, if you want to be successful, don't think you need to know calculus. Don't think you need to have computer programming skills. Don't think any of that. High school math technically is good enough, like as long as you know how to map on a Cartesian plane, which is a very, very fancy way of saying, as long as you can see this chart and learn this chart and read it, as long as you know across the bottom means time and on the right means price. And I can teach anybody that because I used to teach that to fourth graders. I was a tutor for many years. Where the public school system had failed parents and students, I came in and fixed it. So I could teach anybody just about anything as long as they're, mentally there. But all that to say, if you're able to find a way to extract money from the markets, right? Because what happens if you say something like, let's say Kamala wins and we get more and more censorship, and then you get the cancel culture comes back in full force. And then something you said 5 years ago ends up, it's like in England, they start arresting you because you critique the government and things like that. What happens then, right? You lose your job. Look, it's going to be very difficult to stop somebody from trading. Like, I really don't see that happening. They want people to trade because most people who trade are just giving their money away to, the big boys. Most people who come in, 90% of money, 90% of people lose 90%. I can't talk. 90% of people lose 90% of their money in the first 90 days when they come to trade Forex. And I guarantee you it's going to be very similar with any market, right? Maybe even worse with crypto. So they want people, they want you to come trade. They want to take your money. Like 95% of the money out there is going to be institutional money, big money playing. A lot of it, especially in like the Forex market, it's not even there for trading. They're using their FX accounts to pay for salaries and things. And then they're kind of rotating in and out of FX because they need to keep the money at a certain level. And that's a long, long story, but a huge percentage of the trading that goes on in Forex is going to be like algorithms. And they're all fighting each other over retail's money. That 5% of people who are in there, like who are us, who are retail, and they're trying to grab our money. But there is a small percentage of retail, about 10% of us, who are actually able to take their money and take the other retail's money. And if you're able to figure out how to be that 10%, nobody can fire you. So it's virtually impossible to hold on a second, man. What the hell? It's virtually impossible to keep people from making money trading, right? And if we go into some, some weird scenario where people are losing their jobs because they're losing their freedom, and we'll fix it in the US. We have the means to fix that legally, but it might take some time. This is where you can go ahead and extract money. And also, by the way, V the Grill will tell you himself that we actually use the markets as a language to detect what's happening around the world.
Absolutely. That's our key indicator. That's our key intel. People often ask, "Hey V, like, how come you guys nail it all the time? Like months out, years out?" Look, I've learned this a long time ago as a young broker, and that is this: the market has a language. The market talks to you. The market tells you if there's going to be a boom, if there's going to be a bust, if there's going to be a war. You'll see it in the market first. And when you start hanging out with us day in and day out right here on Algo Factory, you'll start developing that key instinct. This is why it's so key and critical that once you're on board, guys, this is not an easy track. Okay, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is an educational course that can get you well equipped to be a very profitable trader, right? And once you start working with us, you start seeing these algorithms, that you start developing the familiarity and, most importantly, the instinct. And that's the key here. And then you'll start seeing things the way we do. Go ahead, Cowboy. Cowboy, you there? Did I lose you? Cowboy?
Sorry, I was muted. This is a formula for financial self-preservation. I do, a lot of people lately have been talking to me about trading because guess what I do, and I have a decent sized circle of people. What I would say is I wouldn't plan to just trade full time right away. I would make this kind of like a side gig. It takes time to learn. Like V just said it, it's not a get rich quick overnight. Now we do have some guys that have some pretty fast success. We do have guys that are able to be profitable very quickly. A lot of that is because they put their nose to the grindstone. They'll work a few hours a day, and within a very short time, they're profitable and they can actually start pulling in money. But even so, I personally prefer to have more than one income stream, right? So you have a lot of people that they're going to give you magic beans and, hey, come trade and it's going to make you rich and you're going to be rich in a year and you can work from home. And we don't say none of that. Now, it could be true. I'm not saying that's not true, but that's not what we're selling here. We're selling here the opportunity to have a little bit more control over your income. We're selling the opportunity to boost your income a bit. And if you end up at some point with like a ton of money that you don't need to work, then this is a great way to make sure that that money, works for itself or doesn't go away and things like that. But we have people with full-time jobs like 9 to 5s, and one individual who at the end of a lot of our videos we put his testimonial up. He goes by Think Free, and he says it in the testimonial, so I'm not afraid to say this. Like, it's a public thing. He said he's 70 years old and he puts in 3 hours a week because he's got a lot going on, and at 3 hours a week within a year he had a successful algorithm, is having success doing this. So if I hear people say I don't have enough time, that's bullshit. There's time. If that guy can do it, you can do it, right? If somebody on 3 hours a week can build a successful algo and is able to actually augment his income by doing that, then anybody has 3 hours a week. What you got? What, you watching Netflix? You playing video games? What are you doing? You don't got 3 hours a week, really? I mean, look, there are some people, I get it. There are people who have a certain level of responsibility, and 3 hours is a lot of time. But I can't name anybody who can't yank 3 hours a week out of their schedule. I don't know anybody personally that I can say off the top of my head, right? So anyway, but we've gone a little bit over on the public live lab. We've given out a freebie of pure entertainment here, of course, not investment advice, but this trade is, it's very entertaining, the fact that I just took this trade in front of everybody and put it up on X. So we'll see how this goes. But V, why don't we flip over to the live lab, the private. And you're muted, by the way.
Oh, let's get over to private.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then I will give the spiel. Click on the top right-hand corner. There's or not click on it, but zap that QR code, take you to algofactory.tech. We teach people how to trade. We teach people how to build trading methods. So a lot of people are trading manually, but if you do want to build an auto trader, a bot, if you want to do something that kind of trades while you're not even at the computer, we can help put you on the path to that. Come on over, algofactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life. We'll see you on the next one.
Join us or die.